Good evening. Welcome to a special maritime edition of CBC News. We begin tonight with a dramatic rescue in a Nova Scotia abattoir involving a pod of a dozen dolphins. The mammals became stuck in thick mud near Canning when the tide went out. Several people jumped in to help, but they quickly discovered it was too dangerous. The Marine Animal Response Society was called in to lead the rescue, while volunteer firefighters provided support for the humans. A diving company brought a boat, and when the tide started coming back, it took Mars volunteers out to rescue the pod.
They were able to do that with all the dolphins that they could find. It took a little bit of corralling because, of course, they're disoriented. They're overheating. Their ears are kind of not sensing where upright is yet. But between them and the local company with the vessel, they were able to encourage the animals to go back out and head out into the proper part of the bay.
She says this has a happy ending. It appears all the dolphins survived the ordeal. She says anyone who finds stranded marine animals needs to call the experts because situations like this can be dangerous for everyone involved. Mars rescuers were busy yesterday. Other members of the team were in Guysborough, Nova Scotia, where a whale was stuck near the shore, but the tide also helped that rescue. Well, a proposed natural gas power plant in southeast New Brunswick is raising concerns for some who live in the province. Opponents of the plant say NB Power is trying to avoid a review by the province's Energy and Utility Board. But since the plant will be built and owned by a private company, the utility argues it falls outside of the regulator's jurisdiction. The CBC's Silas Brown reports.
Opponents to a proposed natural gas plant say NB Power is trying to skirt regulatory scrutiny. NB Power has contracted Pro Energy to build a 400-megawatt generating facility in the province's southeast. The plant will be owned and operated by Pro Energy with an agreement to sell the energy to NB Power. Normally, capital projects more than $50 million need approval from the Energy and Utilities Board. But in this case, NB Power is arguing that the board doesn't have jurisdiction.
It's an attempt to evade the regulatory process, and that's unacceptable.
In a filing with the EUB, NB Power argues that its tolling agreement with the company that will build the new facility doesn't count as a capital investment. Since NB Power isn't building and won't own the plant, the project itself doesn't require board approval. But Pro Energy is also building a $70 million switchyard to connect the plant to the grid. By law, only NB Power can own transmission assets in the province, so when it's completed, it will be sold to the utility for $1. NB Power argues that it shouldn't fall under the EUB's jurisdiction, which would avoid a review of the entire project, including the plant itself.
Well, it says to me they don't have much faith in the Energy and Utilities Board deciding that this is in the economic interest. These expenditures would be in the economic interest of New Brunswickers given the alternatives.
A spokesperson for the utility told CBC News that since NB Power won't be assuming the same amount of operational risk due to the structure of the deal, they wanted to get the EUB's opinion on if it falls under their jurisdiction. NB Power says the plant is needed to help support growing power demands in the province and that it will help to support intermittent renewable energy and lower emissions by displacing power from more polluting sources. But those claims are exactly why some say that the regulatory process itself is so critical.
The EUB is the way to review that information to check if this is really the best choice for New Brunswick. So without that oversight, I think we're going to get into more problems rather than less. What if this costs us more down the road than what we think now? And I think if the ratepayers have to pay for this, they have a right to see what's going on.
Silas Brown, CBC News, Fredericton.
We go to PEI now, where advance voting in 2 provincial by-elections continued this holiday Monday. Voters are choosing new MLAs for District 9, Charlottetown-Hillsborough Park, and District 15, that's Brackley-Hunter River. According to Elections PEI, around 10% of eligible voters cast ballots on Saturday. There will be a third day of advance polling this Friday. Election day for the 2 ridings is next Tuesday, August 12th. And while the results of the votes will offer some insight in the public's view of the Lance government, they won't shift the balance of power. The PCs currently hold a comfortable majority with 19 of 27 seats. Well, Nova Scotia farmers, researchers, and companies are exploring whether a type of organic material can help support agriculture and the climate. It's called biochar, and it's made by turning organic material into a form of stable carbon. Moira Donovan reports.
On a rolling vineyard in the Annapolis Valley, Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada research scientist Vicky Levesque examines where the soil beneath grapevines is littered with charred wood.
So here it's a silty clay soil, I could say, and I mean it's with the particle size that we are using here, it's perfect.
This material is called biochar. Biochar uses high heat to turn organic matter into a charcoal-like material that can store carbon in the soil long term. It also helps soil health, which is why biochar has been applied on these vines after growers raised concerns with the state of the soil.
In average, the biochar will play a role to improve the soil aeration, reducing the soil compaction. Because the biochar has negative charge on his surface, it will be able to retain nutrient and water on its surface.
In this study, scientists will examine these benefits to soil health at 11 grapevine sites in the valley, as well as biochar's impact on carbon sequestration. These potential benefits are why the United Nations has said biochar is a promising tool for maintaining a stable climate. Biochar also helps address another problem.
Sawmills in Atlantic Canada, these giant piles of wood chips and shavings and bark building up. It's not a great environmental circumstance.
This is Peter LeBlanc with RDA Technologies, Inc. LeBlanc says since the closure of Northern Pulp, sawmills in the province have fewer places to send their residual wood.
After the lumber, usable lumber is cut out of the tree, then there's the perimeter materials, the bark, the shavings on refining the lumber itself, and the wood chips and sawdust. That is at risk of going back into the form of CO2.
So when LeBlanc heard of a company in Poland turning wood waste to biochar in special reactors, he saw an opportunity. RDA Technologies is now working to bring those reactors to Nova Scotia. Meanwhile, they're trying to build up a local market for the material by selling Polish-produced biochar here.
Having what we're doing right now, for example, bringing biochar in containers from Europe to Canada and packaging it here and then distributing it locally is not ideal as far as the transportation from Europe to Nova Scotia is concerned. So we can produce it locally, and of course, the create jobs and create employment side of it in Nova Scotia, which we all want to try to do.
Back in the Annapolis Valley, Vicky Levesque says biochar's potential to convert waste material is an area where forestry and agriculture can help each other, not to mention the planet, and that's worth investigating. For now, Levesque says cost is a barrier, as biochar costs about $1,000 a ton, but proponents hope costs will come down as biochar becomes more popular. Moira Donovan, CBC News, Canning.
Well, harness racing is resuming in Woodstock, New Brunswick today. The Connell Park Raceway has been closed since mid-June after the death of a child at the track. On opening day of the season, a child died after being struck by the starting gate as it was being towed down the track. Races were canceled so the town could do a safety review. According to a news release, that review is now complete and racing will resume with safety measures in place. The latest photos from the track show tall blue metal grid fencing has been set up around the perimeter. It lines a wooden fence that was previously the only barrier between spectators and the track itself. The Connell Park Raceway is the only active harness racing track in New Brunswick. Well, some of the top lifeguards in Canada were in Nova Scotia this weekend for a national competition at the beach on the Eastern Shore. Josh Hoffman was there soaking it all in.
30 of the best male and female lifeguards from across the country took part in the 2025 Canadian Lifeguard Challenge at Martinique Beach on Sunday. The event, which is held every other year, tests participants' skills at swimming, running, and paddling in a triple triathlon. Competitors took part in the 3 heats, making their way in and out of the water through a grueling course. Izzy Spearin from Ontario finished first in the women's field.
I wanted to focus today on having fun. My goals that I wrote down before I went out was don't cry, eat between my races, and be a supportive teammate. And if I can control my mood and be in a good mood, I'll always race well.
Jacob Meese, who lives in Halifax, finished atop the men's group. Meese also won the event in 2019 and says it's a good opportunity to work on being a better lifeguard, but also to have fun.
For me, it all started as training and fitness to be a lifeguard, and that's where most of us start. We're all lifesavers first, so we all have our bronze med, bronze cross, or our national lifeguard. And so this just is a way for us to stay fit in a friendly competition, good environment with good community, and frankly a lot of good friends. So that's why I do it, and I bet a lot of these people here would say the same.
The first place finishers don't only get bragging rights, they also get a cash prize of $3,000. Josh Hoffman, CBC News, Halifax.
Well, Charlottetown's baseball diamonds were taken over by hundreds of well-seasoned players this weekend. The city played host to the National OldTimers Baseball Championships, which started in 1993. This year, there were more than 25 teams competing at 5 fields. Delaney Kelly dropped by to talk to some players about what the sport means to them.
Dugouts are full of cheering, laughter, and well-worn gloves at the Memorial Ball Field in Charlottetown. Craig Cooper is in the midst of it. He's played baseball his whole life.
It's a religion. It's when you play ball, there's nothing like it.
Now batting, number 4, Craig Cooper.
Cooper coaches the Charlottetown Jays, and he says this year's tournament is especially meaningful.
I'm 51 years old this year, and I feel like a kid again. It's just amazing. I've had some health issues over the last couple of years. I had surgery in January 27th of this year, had a disc replaced in my neck, and I'm playing ball again. I never thought I'd play again.
Billy Melvin has seen his share of baseball diamonds over the decades too. He's with the St. John Mooseheads team. He says the dream is always to win the championship, but it's not the only goal.
It'd be great to go home with a trophy, but we go home with memories, we go home with new friendships, and we go home knowing that baseball is going to happen again tomorrow.
And this year's tournament will happen again too. Next year, it's being played in Alberta. Both Melvin and Cooper say they hope to go. Delaney Kelly, CBC News, Charlottetown.
Belfast, Prince Edward Island was the place to be this weekend for those who enjoy bagpipes, Highland sports, and tartans. It was the 158th annual Belfast Highland Games and Celtic Festival. The event offers an opportunity for people to celebrate Scottish culture and history. The 3-day festival features games, workshops, food, and plenty of live music and dancing.
Oh, there's nothing like the sound of the pipes to someone of Scottish descent. It just sends shivers up my spine. I love it. I am super proud, not only of being a Scottish descent, but also that we've been able to hold on to this event for over, it's close to 160 years now.
Organizers say it's great to see so many families from across the island come out to celebrate their Scottish heritage year after year. Well, in New Brunswick, some beachgoers got to check out some eye-popping masterpieces this weekend. The annual Bay of Fundy Sand Sculpture Festival kicked it up a notch this year. For the first time, 6 professional sand artists were invited to race against the tide and build these massive temporary works. People gathered on New River Beach to watch it all unfold.
Just like this is a marathon. It's not a race. This is so physically taxing because they have to compact 10 to 15 tons of sand in about a couple of hours. And then they have to carve it for 5 hours and make it look like the masterpieces you see behind you that are 8 feet high and 8 feet wide. It's bonkers. They are exhausted and breathless when they're finished.
The artists had about 7 hours to complete their pieces before the ocean wiped them away. The event also included sand sculpture lessons for those who wanted to create their own mini works of art. Well, here's a live look across Halifax Harbor. Ryan Snoddon will be back next with the full weather forecast. Welcome back, and Ryan Snoddon is here with us now with a look at the weather. Ryan, what an amazing weekend, but you can really notice that wildfire smoke now.
Yeah, couldn't ask for better if you were doing anything outside this weekend, camping. There's so many events and festivals happening, and the weather was great. I know we do need the rain, but certainly, the kind of the topic today was the wildfire smoke was so thick in the skies. And have a look at this map. This really tells the story. It's all coming from the west, mainly northern Saskatchewan, northern Manitoba, the Northwest Territories, and you can see it drapes down across the Great Lakes and then up through the Maritimes and is now pushing into Newfoundland. And the good news is that this is going to be moving out. So let's walk you through the timeline through this evening into the overnight as the winds shift to north. That wildfire smoke is being ushered out throughout the day on Tuesday. Still likely noticeable when we wake up tomorrow morning, but by the time Tuesday evening and into Wednesday morning hits, that smoke will be pretty much a non-issue. So a little bit of good news there. Pretty sure even this morning I could smell it almost. It was so thick out there. Now, as we look at the high temperatures for today, you can see across the Maritimes, we were into the mid to high 20s. Really, really nice temperature-wise. Couple of showers developing here, southern New Brunswick and across the Northumberland Strait into the northern parts of Nova Scotia. Isolated risk will continue along this line for the next couple of hours, but overall very quiet. That front not mustering up much, unfortunately. And there's Dexter. And yeah, Tropical Storm Dexter, we actually could use the moisture from this. I know, never wish a tropical storm to come in, but this system is going to be, or storm is going to be passing well to our south, well south of Sable. And this is a fish storm, as we say. And so, yes, not a drop from this. This will be a non-threat for us. Now, as we look at the forecast for tonight, temperatures are going to be into the mid-teens. We'll see for the most part across Nova Scotia. Low teens across New Brunswick and into PEI. And we'll be in the single digits for Edmundston and Madawaska in the northwest. Walking you through the timeline, you can see this model doing a pretty good job at how hit and miss those showers are, and they completely fizzle through the evening and into the overnight. Tomorrow morning, lots of sunshine to start, some fog patches, and again, that northerly wind will help to usher out that wildfire smoke throughout the day. Lots of sunshine as things will warm up quite nicely into the afternoon, and tomorrow evening, Tuesday evening, also looking fine indeed. Provincial forecast then starting in New Brunswick, temperatures into the low to mid 20s with light winds for tomorrow. Into the southern parts of New Brunswick, and you can see temperatures more firmly into the mid 20s. We'll see a lot of sunshine in the morning, a bit of cloud cover again building in into the afternoon. For Prince Edward Island in the west, we're going to see temperatures in the 21 to 23 range. And again, a nice start to the day, bit of cloud cover kicking up into the afternoon. With that northerly flow, temperatures more like 20 to 21 central and eastern areas for tomorrow. So not hot by any stretch, but comfortable, no question. Now for Cape Breton, temperatures in those northerly winds 19 to 20 in through Inverness County, but we'll get towards 23 in through the Bredora Lakes area, down towards Richmond County, and into the west, into the mainland rather. Temperatures again low to mid 20s. The warmest temps will be in through central parts of Nova Scotia tomorrow, and it's a light sea breeze. If you're thinking about doing the beach along the Atlantic coastline tomorrow, it won't be a dominant sea breeze coming in. Similar story for the South Shore. That's an onshore sea breeze here. 27 will likely be our hottest spot in the region in through beautiful Kedzie Park. Now, Wednesday, another day, beautiful, mid-20s, temperatures into the low 20s for Cape Breton in the east with a bit of an onshore flow there, and just tons of sunshine as a high-pressure ridge dominates here. Not going to squeeze out a drop anytime here over the next couple of days. Quick look at the 7-day forecast, and again, we're searching for the raindrops and maybe some relief into the sites this weekend. New Brunswick, our greatest chance beginning Saturday and into Sunday. Note those temperatures really warming up here towards the end of the week and into the weekend. We're going to be flirting with 30 for a good portion of the region, high 20s even on tap for Prince Edward Island and for Nova Scotia. Again, nice stretch here. We need some wet weather, and we'll have to wait till perhaps Sunday with a chance for showers there. That's your forecast to now. Carolyn?
All right, thanks, Ryan. We're back in just a minute. Welcome back. Well, marine researchers in Halifax got up close and personal with a great white shark this week. Geraldine Fernandez was conducting research off the coast of Sambro when she came face to face with the shark and snapped a photo of it that is so incredible. Many people wondered if it was real.
It was a very unique encounter. We're not normally looking for great white sharks in the Halifax waters, and we were just obsessing over this blue shark that came by. And within a split second, I just see a great white shark go through my screen, and we freaked. All the guests got their gear on, and we were in that water so quickly. One of the guests screamed, "Oh, it's coming up, it's coming up." All of a sudden, I just have this great image of the moment where I fell in love with that shark. It was amazing.
This individual was, in the true sense, massive, close to approaching 15 feet long, and just an extraordinary animal. It was pretty much ignoring the bait for the most part, lifting its head out of the water to look what was happening above the water. And it was, those types of encounters are special.
I really want him to be seen the way that he actually was, which is just beautiful, graceful, elegant, and powerful. So powerful.
Amazing. Well, finally, performers from around the world are in Halifax for the city's annual Busker Festival. We'll leave you with the sights and sounds of the event. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.
I got to take off my hat and then put his fish costume, and then I went and swirled around. It was fun, but I got a bit dizzy when I was going around.
I work as a clown, and most of my work involves playing with the audience. I do lots of interactions, lots of silly routines that make them feel happy and stupid, and it's a playful, very playful show.
Another kid! Yes, great holidays! Yeah! Goes all the way up to the top. One into the middle, one at the bottom. Great!
It was so fun. I loved it when I holded up the rope and then she grabbed it and I ran back, and she was on the unicycle.
Well, I do a lot of very silly things in my act. I do a bit of hula hoops, I hula hoop on my own hair, and I skip rope while riding a unicycle.
It was so fun and I loved it, and yeah, I'll come here again next year, I'm pretty sure.